I wanted to bring that up with you coming out as the first openly gay umpire back in 2014, and that was very good gesture for Curt Schilling, who gets a bad rap, obviously, publicly for
Of
that,
course,
doing
yes.
that. So, and also your book as well. You have a book as well. The Umpire is out. So, tell us a little bit about that whole storyline regarding that.
Well, I mean, I realized who I was and that I was gay back when I was 19, before I even went to umpire school. But I also realized that for me to have any type of a career in baseball, going to umpire school in 1981, that I didn't, wasn't going to be revealing that.
Mm-hmm. Right.
I actively, tried to make sure baseball didn't know who I was. When I started my first game in professional baseball, the Northwest League, in June of 1981, was literally 2 weeks after the first reported mysterious cancers were affecting these healthy men in San Francisco and New York, which was, of course, the start of the AIDS epidemic. And that's right when I was starting my career. And so, not only did I want baseball, I didn't want baseball to know who I was, because I figured there's no way I would get to AA, let alone advance to the big leagues if they knew I was gay. But now I even had the fear that, if they found I was gay, there would be nobody that would want to work with me, because the fear in the 80s of HIV and those first several years, when people were scared, they didn't know how, you acquired it. They people were kicked out of school. I mean, it was a tough time. So I actively tried to hide who I was, and I did. I got to the big leagues and everything else. It was the late 90s where a couple guys at different times just kind of out of the blue said, "Hey, Scotty, we know you have a different lifestyle. We don't care. I just want you to know I'd walk on the field with you any day. You're a good umpire, you're a good guy, and I just want you to know that." And just kind of opening that up. And so eventually that my shields were broken, so to speak. So baseball, when I say baseball, the umpire staff knew, the people I worked for, Major League Baseball, people sign my checks, they knew my situation. But in 2014 is when I came out publicly in December of that year. The first male official in the Big Five sports, active male official in the first Big Five sports to come out and do that, and it was overwhelmingly positive. The messages I got, and I was really happy to hear that. The book, I wasn't going to write one after I retired, but people kept saying, "You got to write a book. Got to write a book." I have a lot of stories, obviously, when you're 37 years of professional baseball. But Rob Nyer, who helped me with the book, I said, "I don't really want to do that." And he said, "But Dale, you have got another story that nobody has, and I really think that should be out." And as I thought about it, with the reaction I had from the people in 2014, people telling me that because of me, they had the courage to come out to their coworkers, or because of me, they're a step closer to that closet door. And thank you for giving me the strength that, I mean, it's amazing how you can touch other people's lives.
Of course.
It just blows me. It still blows me away. The people I've met and heard from. So that kind of convinced me, okay, let's write the book. And I had a blast. I enjoyed the whole process. I wrote about 75% of the book. It's gotten great reviews. The feedback's been outstanding. And so it was a lot of fun. And, it's a good way to spend the pandemic and write a book,
Now, Dale, what is one of your great stories that you could remember being on the field as an umpire? Is there something that really stands out from your 30 years or 33 years of being an umpire on a baseball field?
Well, you have a lot of memories of first, my first game, my first play game, my first playoff, those types of things. But I got to tell you guys, being part of the 2001 World Series right after 9/11, a 7-game series, the home team won every game. The Yankees had a couple of walk-offs at Yankee Stadium, and it was just an unbelievable series. And it was, literally that my game was game 3, which was the first. When I say my game behind the plate was game 3, which is the first game at Yankee Stadium, the game that President Bush threw out the first pitch. It was literally like 8 weeks since 9/11 when that game was played. It was 14 miles from ground zero. A lot of things going on.
NSYNC sing the national anthem in the third game? Was it NSYNC?
I'll be honest with you, I don't know.
Yeah, I'm pretty sure it was because I'm pretty sure.
That was I've got Clemens on the mound.
Right.
I'm trying to mentally focus for a plate game, and I've got the president in the room. Secret Service is dressing up as an umpire.
Hey, look, it's in sync.
Yeah,
the band was his eighth priority.
I'm not sure who was singing, quite frankly.
Don't worry, the band was your eighth priority that day.
Okay.
So we talked about the Billy Martin one earlier, but any other managers that you had any unique incidents with, either throwing them out of the game or maybe even going through the lineup cards? Any other ones that were very interesting?
Well, there's just guys. I mean, Cito Gasson and I just never seemed to get along. I mean, he had those great teams in Toronto in the early 90s. But I mean, if I said it was Wednesday, he would say it was Thursday. We just didn't seem to be in sync. One time in Texas, they were complaining about my strike zone, and he marches out to the mound to talk to the pitcher. And I know exactly who he wants to talk to. So I thought, well, let's just get this over with. So I head up to the mound, and he said, where are those pitches? And I said, Cito, we're not going to talk about pitches. And he goes, the hell we are. He dives into me. So I eject him. And he said, you know what? I am so sick and tired of this. I'm so sick and tired of this. After this game, meet me outside the stadium and we'll settle this once and for all. And I said, oh, that's great, Cito. I said, that's wonderful. I said, Dr. Bobby Brown, who was the American League president, that's who you write the reports to. I said, Dr. Brown's going to be thrilled that you're threatening his umpires. And Cito goes, F Dr. Brown. I said, well, he's going to be thrilled with that too. That's going to be right. That's going right in the report. But so we just never seem to meet eye to eye. Tony La Russa is a hell of a competitor. I mean, when you see him off the field in a restaurant or something, nice guy, personable. He gets that uniform on. Oh man, he is a Jekyll and Hyde a little bit when he gets that on. But it's a game of personalities. A lot of times I may have, I may walk on the field with my crew, and I may get along with this manager and the rest of the crew can't stand him, or vice versa or something, just because of instances that you may have had in the past, maybe in the minor leagues or in the big leagues or whatever. So it's an interesting job that way for sure.
As everybody knows, we are talking to 33-year-old vet. Well, I say 33-year vet, umpire Dale Scott. He's not 33 years old, ladies and gentlemen. I think you're 67, right?
63.
63.
I'll take 33.
Okay.
Hell, I'll take somewhere in between. I mean,
then you'd be younger than me, my friend. Anyways, my last question for you is your best Yankee story. I mean, with Derek Jeter, Mariano Rivera, any one of those great Yankees 90s, early 2000 teams. Is there a story that you remember?
Well, and I had the Yankees a lot then. Late 90s, I was still in the American League, and so you'd see him a lot. I got a story. It's maybe not the greatest Yankee story, but I find it very interesting. Derek Jeter, who was never ejected in his entire major league career.
Wow.
And that's, for a guy that played as many innings as he did, in as many pressure games as he did, for a guy who, quite frankly, owned the city, could have done anything he wanted to do, and the city would have been right. I was on the field the opening day in Cleveland in '96 when he started. I think he might have played at 95, but that was the start of his
full
career.
Season, yeah. Mm-hmm.
Right. And like I said, here's a guy that owned the city. All he had to do on an at bat, if he didn't like a pitch, is just drop his shoulders and just give the body language, and you would have 55,000 people on your rear end or whatever. But he never played that card. He was always very professional. He is, didn't mean he agreed with everything. Absolutely not. But he always knew who he was, what his role was with that team, and there's other superstars that owned their cities or were outstanding players that didn't or don't with us. I'm talking about that professional as Derek was, and I applaud him for that. I remember one time I called him out on strikes, and he goes, Dale, that pitch is outside, and I said, well, Derek, I got it on the plate, and he goes, and we're it was the third out, and we're just kind of walking, as we're talking toward his dugout. I said, I'll tell you what, Derek, I'll take a look after the game. I'll let you know tomorrow, Now, I wouldn't say that to anybody, or but here's a guy that hardly ever complains, and so when he does, man, you know what, I'll hear him out. Paul O'Neill, I wouldn't have done that because he complains about every other pitch, right? And sure as heck, the pitch, it's a borderline pitch. But I said next day, I said, Derek, hey, I looked at that pitch. Yeah, you might have had a bitch. It might have been a tad outside. He goes, hey, that's cool, Dale. Everything's good. I think players appreciate when an umpire isn't just high and mighty and I never miss a thing and leave me alone and don't talk to me. We have to work with these guys every day, year after year, and so you want to be able to communicate with them as long as they're being professional about on their end of the bargain also. So he's just a pretty class guy is what I'm saying.
So my last question, I wanted to shift away from baseball to your big Oregon guy, Oregon football, big out there. So what is their college football culture like in Eugene? I know you grew up there for a while. And also all the chaos this offseason with college football between the NIL rule, between the conference realignment, USC and UCLA just moving to the Big Ten just now. What do you think about all that?
Well, that's a S show as far as realignment and stuff. And I'm not sure, that's not over yet. We'll see how that all plays out. But I'm going to be in Atlanta September 3rd. They're taking on Georgia.
Yeah.
Last year I went to Columbus. We were 14.5-point underdogs. Our best player was hurt. I was the token duck at a couple of Ohio State tailgaters, and people were being really, really nice to me before the game. Oh, you came all the way. Oh, isn't that sweet? That's because they knew we were just going to get slaughtered. But then after the game and Oregon wins, it was a different attitude. They were a little bit stunned. I'm hoping for a repeat of that in Georgia. I'm not going to say it's going to happen, but that would be wonderful. The Ducks on paper look good. We have a new coach. We're going to have a new quarterback, so we'll see. But it's Duck football. I've had season tickets since '89. I've been going since the late '60s when I was a kid growing up there. They were horrible for years. I mean, horrible, but it was, I would go because it was an event. It was something to do. And you certainly can't say that I'm a bandwagon guy because I've been with this flock, when 2 wins was cool as long as we beat Oregon State, So, it's I'm looking forward to the season, though.
Well, we really appreciate you coming on, Dale. I know you're a busy guy, and we'd love to get you on again. The fans love you, everything that we've read, and so many people are asking us to ask you so many questions. So if any of the fans want to reach out to you, how could they get you?
Well, go to my website, umpiredalescott.com. It's got information about my book. It's got video clips, podcasts that I've done, reviews, and there's a way to contact me there also. So that's probably the easiest to do that.
Well, we really appreciate your time, man, and keep up the good work. Enjoy your retirement and your freedom, and we'll talk to you soon.
That sounds good, guys. Thanks for having me.
Dale Scott, ladies and gentlemen, 33-year vet as a major league umpire. Fantastic stories. He really is a great person. And he loves Angel Hernandez. So there is somebody out there that actually loves him.
Yeah, he knew him from umpire school. You got to support
That's
him.
a great story. I mean, seriously, he wore number 5.
Number 5, baby.
Yeah, there you go. And now he was wearing 55, and now he wears 5 again. So there you go. Dale retiring helped Angel Hernandez be hated even more. So there you go. Dale, thank you.
Thanks, guys.